So if you have a loved one in your home that passes away who owns prohibs, the answer is absolutely nothing. So the way the system works is upon their death, it's not like there's some sort of notification that goes to the Canadian Firearms Program or law enforcement unless you do that yourself. And oftentimes we do see widows doing that, unfortunately, because they don't know what to do. The answer is do absolutely nothing. Upon the expiration of the loved one's firearms license, another 6 months after that for the grace period will expire, and then you'll probably hear from law enforcement. The RCMP will come to find out why haven't you renewed the license. You know, you'll probably get a letter, an email. It'll start from there, but even then it's still a long process. So at this point, you do absolutely nothing with them. Leave them locked up exactly where they were and do nothing. You've got a grace period. If you've got a family member who is sick or is maybe very elderly, and maybe they still have 2 years left on their firearms license, have them go and renew it right now and buy you a minimum of 5.5 years. So that's my recommendation.
What if they're in a different province? Like I have a brother in Ontario, and he's 68.
Right.
And he hasn't shot in years, but he has restricted firearms as well as I do. And he wanted to pass them on to me.
Well, if it's a handgun, no, you cannot transfer it. So yeah, my recommendation is leave it there. A lot can happen, even in the next 2 years, maybe, or even maybe next year. I would really like next fall. But yeah, we can have an election, have a new government, and this all these problems solve themselves. So you just keep them tucked away and do absolutely nothing.
Just to add to that briefly, and I think that's absolutely correct, but the most important thing, and we haven't really talked about the amnesty period yet, but fundamentally everyone in this room, with this trial, the answer is do nothing. Do not comply. You're under no obligation right now. So for those unclear what I mean, the amnesty period is the period in which the prohibited firearms are not going to be essentially a criminal if you're in possession of them until that period expires. The government has continued to drag their feet on this. They're continuing to extend that amnesty period. As of the latest reports when this was announced, it will be October of 2026. So we have a year. Essentially, you have no obligation to comply with this trial, and I strongly encourage you not to do so. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, guys. And so just to note, we've been joined at the head table here, it makes it sound like a wedding, at the head table here by John Campbell. John Campbell is the owner-operator of the Bullet Box, which not a lot of people... Not a lot of people know this, unless John has told you this himself, but it is the largest indoor range in Atlantic Canada. So it's a significant business. So that's a significant Cape Breton business. John invested a lot of money in that building, that beautiful, beautiful. And I mean, I don't want to say that it's at risk, but certainly it feels like everything we have here is under attack. So, all right. So, does anyone else want to come up to the mic and ask a question? Yes?
John would like to say.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great. Sorry, sir, just give us a moment here.
Hello, Mike Anastasio. I own the Bullet Box, Eastern Canada's largest indoor shooting range. We offer all kinds of things that involve firearms. Oh, sorry. That better? Yeah. These bans have basically devastated our business. We got our first one in 2020, our second one of October of 2022, and now the last one in December. They've stuck us with thousands and thousands of dollars worth of firearms that we can't sell, we can't do anything with. Even if we were to get compensated, it is only a one-off thing. We could have sold them guns multiple times to actually make our profits off them. So even if they compensate us, it's just a one-time thing. It really does nothing to help our business. And we're absolutely at risk right now of losing a beautiful facility. I built this 6 years ago as a passion. And we couldn't keep the place open enough hours to get the amount of people through that wanted to be there. It was just absolutely amazing. And the Liberals have just pulled it out from underneath us completely, and we're really struggling to try and keep it alive and well. But I see a lot of you guys are customers and members, and you know, we can't thank you enough for the support and everything you've done for us over the years, and hopefully we can have C21 repealed and we can start going at it again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, and John, just out of curiosity, how many employees do you have?
We had 8.
Yeah. So at the height of your business success, which should have continued, you had 8 employees, 8 Cape Bretoners employed at your business.
And our peak, we had almost 800 members.
So that's the thing, we're not just talking about impacts to us individually, we're also talking about economic impacts directly to our community, not only in businesses like the Bullet Box, but also in our guiding industry and in all of the various associated industries. There's a gentleman with a question. Sorry, sir. Who is next? Well, you had a chance. You had a chance. Can we get back to you?
Okay.
You, sir? I know this guy.
I was a corporal, I wasn't a sheriff. One quick thing I noticed today, there was a lot of non-gun owners down there supporting us. A lot of friends of mine that are not gun owners that were there supporting us today. So for those people especially, thank you very much. Ken Jardine, I'm the president. I'm the president of the Highland Highwaymen Cowboy Mounted Shooters. We're the real scary people. We got the handguns. I shoot blanks, I shoot balloons. You know, like, and we're the bad guys, right? So, I just got a question. Best premier in the country, in Alberta, said firearms, you're a lawyer, right? So our firearms are under provincial purview as far as it's federal regulation run by the province, right? Because you got your chief firearms officers, provincial and that. She said, she come out and they did a thing where they told all the police chiefs, if you want to collect firearms from Canadians, you're going to need a permit from the province. Good luck getting it. Because the head of the Justice Department, who the CFO works for me, and I can tell you right now, we're not issuing any. Why can't our conservative government of Nova Scotia do that and shut that our esteemed police chief down? Why, like, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to address that because you're right, and I give Danielle Smith a lot of courage for that. Saskatchewan has also implemented a Firearms Act that prevents as a roadblock. So what it does is, you're exactly right. If you want to be a confiscator, whether you're law enforcement or an agent of the government or whatever, you have to be licensed, and you're right. They won't be issuing those licenses. And that's great. But the problem is, that'll stop confiscations, but it doesn't stop the criminality when the amnesty expires. So Alberta gun owners and Saskatchewan gun owners have no protection from that. In fact, they cannot participate in the compensation piece, so they will just be criminals. So it's going to be a problem when the amnesty eventually runs out, should they not continue to extend that. So I know my partner at work, Rod Giltaka, had a meeting last week with the Alberta government on this. He was out there for a conference, and this is something they're looking at trying to fix. Because what happens is, if nobody can go confiscate their guns, and they can't participate in the buyback, I'm just calling it that because people know what I'm talking about when I say
Extortion.
that. Yeah,
Gun
the
grab,
confiscation
yeah.
program. When that amnesty runs out and the program is over, that's it. You are now in illegal possession of a prohibited firearm that you are not licensed to use. You have no protection, and especially for those of us with restricted firearms, they know exactly who's got them and where they are. So there's a huge exposure there for Albertan and Saskatchewan firearms owners. So it's a good temporary roadblock, but it is not a protection.
Well, thank you for that. My last one is just a request, I guess, because talking to Mike, he cornered the mayor and the police chief the other night at another function, and one of them said something to the effect of that this is going to protect Cape Bretoners by taking it. So protect them from me, from you, right? And I just want you MPs to know, and hopefully you'll say this in the House, this is heartbreaking, okay? I'm a veteran. My grandfather was a veteran, World War I. My father-in-law was in World War II. You don't need protection from me. The fellow veterans, we need protection from our own flipping government.
Yes.
And they don't get it. This is my culture, this is our culture. And everybody else's culture, we gotta be sensitive to it, but not us. What the hell? So we need protection. we're not gonna fight anybody. We're not, that's not what we do, right? It's ballots in this country that you fight with, not bullets. And we need these people to understand this. They're breaking people's hearts, they really are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Kenny. Kenny was the MC at my wedding. I've known him forever. I'd just like to add that you said when I cornered the mayor yesterday, or last week at a meeting, he said something that really sent chills up my spine. He said, I'm contacting Ottawa to get the names of all gun owners so I know who the gun owners are in my town.
Oh my God.
It's in the CBRM, I think he said. I nearly fell down. I couldn't believe he said that in public. It really surprised me.
Yeah, just for the record on that, the mayor of your town has no jurisdiction and no right to access that information. So it would be my recommendation that we publish the contact information for that mayor, and every single person here either pays him a polite visit, sends him an email, a phone call, and tell everyone you know to do the same. That's ridiculous. He's got no right to that information.
Who's next for a question?
Everybody.
Steve Lee, I'm a 20-year veteran of the Canadian Forces as well. So as the SDS or Marxist radicals in the 70s used to say, the issue is never the issue is always the revolution. By which they mean communist coup, the likes of which the globe is in the throes of right now. And I was holding a sign out there today that had some of the best experts on gun control on it, namely Mao, Stalin, Hitler, Pol Pot. Mao, he implemented gun control before he prosecuted the Cultural Revolution, the likes of which we are going through right now, especially in the wakes of the Kamloops Masquerade hoax. And I guess my question is one of framing. It seems to me like we're always letting the left or the liberals frame the issue as one that's about sport shooting and hunting. It's about hobbies. But just a cursory glance at history shows that disarmed populations are vulnerable, especially to democide, as in mass murder at the hands of one state, which was the number one cause of non-natural death in humans in the 20th century. And I think it's worth reflecting on the fact that the reason we're all here today is because Gabriel Wortman killed 22 Nova Scotians, 23 to count the unborn. And we still don't know who paid him the $475,000 the day before he went on that shooting rampage through a Briggs outlet, just like the RCMP paid their confidential informants. We do know of a communist tactic called anarcho-tyranny, where they just allow crime waves to take place, so they can crack down on citizens and confiscate guns. So I guess my question is, why is it that we allow them to frame the issue as one of hobbies when in fact it's an issue of survival?
I feel like I'm hogging all the answers. I'm not hogging all the answers, I hope. Yeah, you're right, and I do get a lot of flack for that on social media. People say, why are you always talking about shooting paper targets? That's not why we own guns. There's some people that make some videos like that, but I'll tell you right now, the CCFR is probably the youngest gun lobby. We are by far the biggest one in the country and the most influential, but we've had a public policy on self-defense from the very beginning. We also advanced a self-defense argument in the federal court and the appeals court, and we're on our way to the Supreme Court with it as well. As self-defense, as a reason why we need to own these firearms and why it is illegitimate for the government to take them from us. So it's not that that conversation isn't happening. It is. Self-defense is not a legal reason to acquire a firearm in Canada. However, it is legal to defend your life with one, should that situation arise. I think the conversation around self-defense, unfortunately, is changing in this country, and it's actually becoming mainstream. And I mean, you'd think as a gun lobbyist, that's what I'd want, but it's not. It means we're becoming more violent as a society. We've got more violent crime being committed. You've got Doug Ford talking about Castle Law. I mean, you know, whoever saw that coming. So yeah, the conversation is definitely changing. But I think for the most part, most gun owners in Canada have practiced their culture with, you know, hunting and sport shooting. That's kind of the everyday use. But do we all know why we really own these firearms? Yeah. But that's not the forefront conversation. It's just the way it is.
I got coyotes. And they wear red.
So I'm picking up with today at the rally and of course here at the town hall. So for those of you that are actually veterans or current serving members, if you're willing to, could you put up your hands, please? Can we give these folks a round of applause? So thank you very much. Look, Jeff, I remember I've been in Parliament since 2006. I was there the year that Stephen Harper became the Prime Minister, and I worked with Ludwik Minkowski, Polish Canadian. My wife is a Polish Canadian, who headed up the Tribute to Liberty project, where we actually have a monument against communism for those that are victims of a monument to a tribute to the victims of communism. And Jeff, you rightly pointed out, there's been far more people killed by that ideology than I think any other ideology in the world. So it is absolutely something that I think concerns everybody who thinks about these things. But at the end of the day, there's 2.3 million of us in Canada that own firearms. On a per capita basis, I think we're not nearly where the Americans are, but I think we're in the top 10 as far as seventh most armed civilian in whether you're a hunter. I don't care what motivates you, whether you're a sport shooter, whether you're a farmer or a rancher, killing coyotes. By the way, when you see them in a pack of semi-automatic, it's very, very And as a former conservation officer, as somebody who's actually wore a uniform, and you just take a look. The Yukon Territory just a few years ago switched their patrol vehicle carbine to an AR-10 platform, and it said in the justification was for human-wildlife conflict. The government of Alberta has done the same thing. I think the Ontario government has done the exact same thing. When I was a conservation officer, I wasn't fighting with people. I was protecting myself and protecting other people from wildlife. And what's the most efficient means to do so? Is a high caliber semi-automatic, because you don't know how many it's going to take, and you might miss the first one. And you want to protect life, and you want to protect people, protect yourself. So why, if that's the case for a conservation officer, why isn't that the case for a hunter? I'm a hunter. That's all I do. I'm not a sport shooter. I'm not a collector. I'm just a hunter. And you know what? There's guns now. So every gun that's in my hand is a hunting rifle. Doesn't matter what it looks like, because I'm a hunter, right? And this is affecting all of us. It doesn't matter anymore. Hunters realize Ruger number 1, single shot rifle on the list. I'm wearing a Weatherby vest right now. Weatherby. It doesn't make a single gun that even looks remotely close to a black rifle. And they have at least a dozen entries in the prohib list now. Doesn't make any sense at all. But one of the things that I think, and we're having this conversation now, conversations that we didn't think we were going to have, because the Liberals have done what they've done. And it started with Bill C-75 and the bail reforms, where they said we're going to release people at the earliest opportunity with the least amount of restrictions. Well, we've seen what happens with that. We got violent crime up over 50%, illegal gun crime, not gun crime, illegal gun crime up 130%. We've got extortion up over 300%. By the way, in Bill C-5, which they passed in the next parliament after that, they actually removed the mandatory minimum penalties for all of those offenses. Smuggling weapons across the border, they removed the mandatory minimum. Committing an offense with a firearm, removed the mandatory minimum. Committing extortion with a firearm, they removed the mandatory minimum. And I got the whole list here, I could go through it. But if you're wondering why our country is suffering through the crime that it is right now, it's because there are no consequences for criminals.
No, exactly.
But there seems to be consequences for every one of us in this room.
Yeah.
We are patriotic, law-abiding people. We love our country, and we just want it to go back to some common sense. And that's why I respect and admire Pierre so much. Just a little while ago, he came out and said, we're going to have a stand-on-guard law. There is no reason that if somebody brings a fight to your doorstep to attack your family, steal your property, or attack you, that you should end up facing more charges than the criminal who came to your property.
Exactly.
With all of the censorship laws and everything that they're trying to pass, and they're putting some more before the House of Commons right now, and we're going to be debating these things in the coming days and weeks, it just makes you wonder where we're headed. It's almost like it's planned.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Seeing as it is 8:01, and as everyone who was at the rally today knows, I'm a stickler for sticking to the time. So, because we were there until 5 o'clock. Not a moment later. We didn't leave a moment earlier. So we have time for one more question.
I have a quick one.
Yes, sir.
Any thought to doing another integrity march?
A what? Integrity?
So you'll
I've never heard of
remember,
it.
for those of you who either saw it online, the CCFR, I think it was right after the first gun ban, we called it the Integrity March. And we did it in Ottawa. And the idea was, we were going to bring everyone to Ottawa, and we were going to march around through Wellington and through, the streets in front of the House of Commons and look and see if we could find any integrity at all. Unfortunately, we didn't find any there. Rod and I had said, if we got 1,000 people there, we'd be happy with that, because you never know if people are going to go show up or not. Today was the same deal. People ask me, how many people are coming? Well, I have no idea. How do I know, right? I'm not even from here. But I'll tell you, walking up the steps of Parliament Hill that day, and when my eyes, crusted the lawn, and there was 5,000 people that turned around and looked at me, I remember just snapping a picture of them, and they were all totally silent, staring at me. And I texted it to Rod, who was back at the hotel with CBC doing an interview. And I'm like, you better get your ass up here. There's a lot of people. But yeah, Rod and I were talking about it the other day. And I think we're overdue. Would you guys come to Ottawa? I came and saw you. Can you come see me? Well, let's do it.
So before we conclude, I just want to again reference the email address. No, okay. I want to.
I just have a quick one.
Yeah.
I know a lot of this is aimed towards the guns, but we see some of these signs up here. It's wasted tax dollars.
Yes.
Do they even have a breakdown of this $750 million, or is this just another liberal? Oh well, it's going to cost this much, and sorry to tell you. Like, what is it like?
Well,
is there any numbers at all?
So the entire pot is $742 million.
Yep.
Now, they've already spent over $100 million of that money already. And don't forget, that $742 million isn't to compensate gun owners for their guns.
That's right.
That's to run the bureaucracy of the program. There's 156 people working full-time in Ottawa right now, working on this program, trying to figure out how to take your stuff. So the salary alone for 156 full-time Ottawa bureaucrats is a lot. So the money's ticking down. There is on ccfr.ca, the very latest web story right there, we did a breakdown of that. Because during the technical briefing, we asked them, like, how many guns do you think that's going to pay for? And they budgeted, they know there's 126,000 formerly restricted that they know of, and you'll have no choice. Those forms will auto-populate themselves. And and then they said the total will be 152,000 guns they pay for. They are only going to pay for 26,000 guns, and there's approximately 500 to 700,000 affected. So no, your chances of getting any money are a drop in a bucket. You're not going to get it.
So in other words, they don't know the breakdown, but they're just throwing this out there and kind of hope and prayer.
It's a Hunger Games. That is the full amount of money they're dedicating to this program. But don't forget, law enforcement's getting their share. The Winnipeg Police got $2 million of it already. Your police chief down the road here already took over $100,000. So that money goes to them too. It goes to them long before it goes to you. There won't be any money left for your guns.
So they're spending my money just on their
And just to add to that, when they first announced this, they said it was going to cost $200 million. Now it's $742 million. And you have some experts who are pointing out that it could be in the billions, up to $6 billion. So you have to be real skeptical when you're listening to this government in Ottawa talk about what something's going to cost, because it's going to cost a lot more than they think it's going to. And it's, like Tracy said, it's not going to the people in this room, it's going to big bureaucrats.
That's why I wanted to know if it was breakdown.
Yeah.
Just to see where this number's going.
Yeah, and they said it's capped. We said it's going to cost billions of dollars. You said right from the beginning, gun owners would get fair compensation. Now they're not saying that line anymore, if you haven't noticed. So the minister said in the leaked audio that I leaked to the media, and even in the press conference on Parliament Hill the other day, he said it is a capped program. When that $742 million money pot is out, and they're like halfway through it now, you get nothing. So there's about 26,000 guns that will get paid for out of that, and the rest, that's it. You get nothing.
Can I ask, for here in Cape Breton, what is the expectation of the government? What do they want to volunteer? How many? And are they going to publicly announce how many they have collected? And what's the time frame?
Yeah, so for the pilot project, they're only accepting 200 guns. So I know that for the pilot project, they're only accepting 200 guns. So it doesn't matter if, let's say, 500 people step forward and, you know, for the pilot program and volunteer for it. They only want 200 guns, not 200 people, because many of us own way more than one. That's been bad. They only want 200 guns. So we'll see if those people even get paid or not, but I highly doubt it. And whether or not they get, you know, 500 people that come forward or nobody, they're going to tell you it was a swimming success.
Of course.
And that everything went perfectly. They're not going to tell you that, you know, that we're doing damage to their program. It doesn't matter what happens, they'll tell you it went perfectly.
So they won't announce, oh, we collected 5 guns from Cape Bretoners.
No, well, they're only going to accept 200, so that's probably what they'll say.
Okay.
They'll say it was a success.
Well, look at, they 1,000 guns from retailers, said they got them off the streets. They're in gun shops. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only say what they want you to believe. The fake news.
Yeah.
The fix is in already.
Fake news.
Yeah.
The fix is in already.
100%. Yeah.
Now suddenly gets into the box for the next year, can we reverse all of this? Or is it written in stone? Like, we got to know. Part of this, you guys, Tory party were on our side. If you're just being told us around, or what's what we're trying to do over.
Well, if you give in your guns, it's over for you because you gave them in.
We'll have to drive from
Yeah. So the question was, can any of these proposals that are currently before us be reversed? The answer is, of course, it can be. It can be totally changed. When Stephen Harper became the Prime Minister, all of the nonsense from the Martin Chrétien area ended. We got rid of the long gun registry when we finally had a majority. And keep in mind, since 1993, Conservatives only had a majority for 4.5 years. So we tried that. My colleague Candace Bergen had a private member's bill. We couldn't get it passed. We actually need, if we're going to stop this and get it turned around, we don't just need a Conservative government. We need a majority Conservative government in order to
Yes.
And I just want to say, like I said this in my opening remarks, and I guess I'll probably just have a little closing remark here. I don't know what the plan is. But I want to thank each and every one of you. Like, you've reignited my passion in this. But there's 2.3 million licensed firearms owners in Canada. And right now we're counting on you, folks here in Cape Breton. The whole country's watching you and what you're doing, because you are the first domino that they've selected. And if you fall, the rest will fall behind. And that's what I'm worried about. So I'm just here to encourage you. I know that some of you will be thinking about whether or not it's financially the sensible thing to do, and you're worried about that. I'm not gonna, all I can do is counsel you. You're not gonna be a criminal if you don't participate in this pilot program. You're protected by the amnesty that's gonna be renewed until at least October of next year. And a lot can happen between now and October next year. The current government does not have a majority. The Bloc Québécois was out today saying that they're probably not going to support the budget on November 4th. I can tell you that we're not going to support the budget on November 4th. And I can't speak for the NDP because, well, I don't understand them, but I think they figured out what it costs them to support the Liberals. So we could have anything happen. So please, just weigh these facts carefully when you're making the decision. But there's 2.3 million of us in the rest of the country that are watching what you're doing right now. You're ground zero right now on this program. You're the epicenter, and we're all rooting for you, and we're all hoping you're going to do the right thing.
Right Anna here. Anyway, I thought I'd seen a hand or two in the back, and if I did, our organization doesn't want to miss anybody, but if there is somebody in the back there that I thought had their hand up, I'm willing to skirt in another question or two right quick, and I'll walk down to you if you're too shy for this part with the mic.
My name is Ian. One of the questions I have is that if this amnesty period expires October of next year, and we haven't divulged what we have, and we get a knock at the door by the police, it's way for the council, maybe Tracy, how do we handle that? What do we do?
Good question.
So, I guess it kind of depends if you're talking about prohibited firearms, non-restricted, restricted. So if you have firearms that are now prohibited, but they were previously non-restricted, the government's got a little bit of a problem because they have no idea who has what or where it is. So that's advantage us. As far as, thank you, Stephen Harmer, for that. As far as previously restricted, unfortunately, they know exactly who's got them and where they are. Do they have the resources to go around and arrest us all? No. They'll probably pick a few people. Maybe like the most mouthy, trouble-causing, blonde-haired. I am quite sure I'm they'll probably make an example out of some of us, make it very public, in the hopes that they scare you into doing it. Because, but don't worry, Minister Gary will pay your bail. So it's fine. Anyways. But if you get a knock at the door, unless they got a warrant, I wouldn't answer it. And get a lawyer. My best advice to everybody here, and this is going to sound like a terrible shameless plug, but get the legal defense. Whether you get it through the CCFR or anywhere else, it doesn't really matter. Go to Firearm Legal Defense and get that. It's $80 a year, and your legal fees are covered. I've got it because I know they're going to come get me.
And just to add on to that, and kind of what I was about to say a few minutes ago, if you have specific questions, if you get a threatening letter delivered to your mail, if you get a sketchy call from an RCMP officer and you're wondering your rights, do reach out to us, legal_team@taxpayer.com. I've got a team of lawyers I'm working with on this file, would be happy to provide more specific advice. The hard part about these, offering advice off the cusp is the old lawyer adage is, it depends, because it does depend. It does depend on your individual circumstance. However, if you write, I will get back to you. I will be able to provide the advice you're looking for, completely free of charge. Thanks to our donors at the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Thank you.
Oh man,
Come on.
you're really pushing
Well,
it.
it's
All right.
Yes, sir. Sorry, it's a yes or no question. Thank you for coming. There's another Conservative candidate that I don't see here, Alan McMaster. Was he invited? Because he represents us on the other side of the island. Was he also invited? That's my own.
Alan was invited, and I should address this. So Alan did not decline the invite. He's able to attend on such short notice. So sorry, I should have mentioned that in the beginning. But no, he was willing to attend, just wasn't able to. Yeah, sorry, and we do actually, just a little shout out, a real quick shout out to Joel Hurdle in the back. Joel, stand up. Joel was a candidate here in Nova Scotia. He ran for the Conservatives. He gave it a good time. Everybody knows that I knocked on a ton of doors. Joel knocked on more doors. So his feet got even more sore. So just really briefly, I think we're going to end it here, guys, because we've taken up enough of folks' time. And in terms of, I'm trying to get closer to you, but it's just weird. It sounds weird. So I want us all to acknowledge the fact that these folks sitting right here didn't have to come here. They could have just retweeted our local resistance efforts. They could have just said, oh, poor Cape Breton, I hope they're doing okay. They showed up here to help us with real action. So we have legal advice, we have expertise, we have somebody in caucus who is a shadow minister. We have Carol Anstey, who prepared the petition that I hope we all sign today. We have all of these people making real efforts to help us here. And they're doing this not only for us as individual firearms owners, but also as people who, like Blair said, we are the beginning, we are the first domino, and we cannot fall here. So I want us to extend a huge Cape Breton size thank you to these people sitting at the table.